All right, welcome back. Today, I want to take you through 8 self-mastery shifts to turn experience into wisdom. Won't keep you long, so let's get started. So, your past is not your identity. 8 self-mastery shifts to turn experience into wisdom. See, your past may be part of your story, but it does not have to write the next chapter. So, have you ever noticed that something that happened years ago can still influence the way you think, feel, decide, or respond today? Maybe someone rejected you. Maybe someone criticized you. Maybe you experienced a relationship that changed the way you saw yourself. Maybe you made a mistake that you never quite forgave yourself for. Or just maybe someone disappointed you. Maybe you were made to feel that you weren't enough. And although the situation is over, something inside you still reacts as if it's happening. You perhaps overthink, you hesitate, you protect yourself, you seek approval, you avoid certain situations, you become controlling, you withdraw, you become hard on yourself. And sometimes we ask, what's wrong with me? But I want to invite you to ask a different question today. What did I learn about myself because of what happened to me? Because there's a difference between what happened to you, what you made it mean, and who you choose to become. And that distinction is at the heart of self mastery. So today, I want to walk you through 8 shifts that can help you move from experience to awareness to choice to alignment and ultimately to wisdom. And before we begin, I do want to make something clear. This isn't about pretending the past didn't happen. It isn't about forcing yourself to forget. It isn't about telling yourself just to think positive. And it isn't about being grateful for painful experiences. You don't have to call something good simply because you learned something from it. Instead, self mastery asks a different question. How can I move forward without allowing what happened yesterday or before to control who I become tomorrow? So let's begin. Shift 1. See the pattern. You cannot change a pattern you haven't learned to recognize. The first step is awareness. Start noticing the situations that repeatedly create a strong reaction in you. Maybe criticism makes you shut down. Maybe rejection makes you question your worth. Maybe uncertainty makes you want to control everything. Maybe conflict makes you withdraw. Maybe you constantly seek approval. Maybe whenever something really matters to you, you suddenly find 10 reasons not to do it. Don't judge yourself. Become curious and ask, what happens inside me when this occurs? What do I think? What do I feel? What do I do next? You may begin to notice a pattern, a trigger to thought, to emotion, to behavior, to result. Something happens. You interpret it. The interpretation creates an emotional response. The emotion influences your behavior, and the behavior produces a result. Then the result can reinforce the original belief. And suddenly, you're living inside a cycle you didn't consciously choose. But here's the good news. The moment you become aware of the pattern, you are no longer completely at the mercy of the pattern. Awareness creates space, and inside that space is choice. Shift number 2. Separate the past from the present. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself when you're emotionally activated is this actually happening right now? Or is something from my past being activated by what is happening now? For example, someone doesn't respond to your message. So the present fact is they haven't responded. But your mind might immediately create a story like, they don't care about me. I've done something wrong. They're going to leave. I can't trust people. The event is one thing. The meaning you attach to it is another. So pause, take a breath, look at what is actually happening. Ask, what do I know for certain right now? Then remind yourself, that was then, this is now. I have choices now that I didn't have before, perhaps. You don't need to deny what you experience. You simply need to stop allowing an old experience to automatically interpret every new situation for you, because your past can inform you without controlling you. Shift number 3, feel without becoming the feeling. Self mastery doesn't mean never experiencing difficult emotions. You will experience fear. You will experience disappointment, sadness, anger, uncertainty. The goal isn't become emotionless. The goal is to become conscious of your emotions without allowing them to become your identity or dictate every decision. So instead of saying, I am a failure, try, I am experiencing disappointment because something didn't go the way I hoped. And instead of, I am unworthy, I'm experiencing a painful feeling of rejection. So there is a difference between experiencing something and becoming something. So when emotion appears, pause. Notice your breathing. Notice what you're experiencing in your body and where. Then ask, what am I feeling? What might this emotion be pointing me towards? What am I needing right now? You don't have to immediately solve the entire situation. Sometimes self mastery begins by simply staying present with yourself and remembering, I can feel this without becoming this. So, question the meaning. Shift 4. This is one of the deepest shifts because sometimes it isn't only what happened that continues to affect us, it's what we decided the experience meant about us. Sometimes someone can criticize you. So the event is someone criticized you. The meaning you may assign is I'm not good enough. Someone perhaps left. So the event is maybe the relationship ended. So the meaning behind might be I'm not worthy of being chosen. Or say you made a mistake. So I made a mistake. The meaning is I'm incapable. So ask yourself, what conclusion did I make about myself because of what happened? And then ask, is that conclusion really true? Not did I believe it? Not did it feel true? But is it true? Because a belief is not automatically a fact. Sometimes we make conclusions during painful seasons that we would never make from the wisdom we have today. And you are allowed to question those conclusions. You are allowed to examine them. You are allowed to replace an inaccurate belief with a more truthful one. For example, say someone rejected me. Does not automatically mean I am unworthy, I made a mistake. It does not automatically mean I'm a failure. Something perhaps ended does not automatically mean my best days are behind me. The goal isn't to create a fantasy. The goal is to create a more truthful interpretation. Shift number 5. Separate your experience from your identity. This is where I want you to go even deeper. Say something happened, you experience it. You may have developed beliefs and behaviors because of it, but that does not mean the experience gets to define your entire identity. You may have been rejected, but you're not a rejection. You may have failed, but you're not failure. You may have been betrayed. Betrayal is not your identity. You may have struggled. Struggle is not who you are. Your history can explain some of your patterns, but it doesn't have to determine your future. So ask yourself, who have I been because of what I experienced? Then ask, who am I choosing to become now? This is a powerful transition too, because eventually self-mastery requires us to move beyond what has happened to me and begin asking, what am I going to do with what happened? That doesn't mean blaming yourself what happened. It means reclaiming responsibility for what comes next. So shift number 6, practice the person you are becoming. Now we move from awareness into embodiment. Think about a situation that completely affects an old pattern. Perhaps someone challenges you. Perhaps you receive criticism. Perhaps you've tempted to seek approval. Perhaps you're afraid to take a risk. Now imagine yourself responding differently. You pause, you breathe, you don't abandon yourself, and you don't immediately react. You speak with honesty and integrity. You set an appropriate boundary. You listen. You make a thoughtful decision. You take the next right action. And notice how you want to show up. Maybe calm, grounded, courageous, patient, self-respecting, compassionate, clear. This isn't about pretending you are already perfect. It's about practicing a response that reflects the person you are becoming. Because self-mastery isn't simply about knowing better. Eventually, we have to live differently. Shift number 7. Take one new action. This is where insight becomes transformation. Because you can watch 100 videos, read 100 books, understand every mindset principle, and still remain exactly where you are if nothing changes in your behavior. So choose one small action. If your old pattern is people pleasing, practice saying no without over explaining. If your old pattern is avoidance, take one uncomfortable but constructive step. If your old pattern is self criticism, speak to yourself with trust and dignity. If your old pattern is always putting yourself last, give something important to your growth a place on your calendar. If your old pattern is trying to control everything, identify one thing that isn't yours to control and release your attempt to control it. You don't have to change your entire life today. One intentional choice is enough to begin, because every time you respond differently, you create evidence that I have a choice. And repeated choices become patterns. Patterns become behaviors. Behaviors become ways of being, and ways of being shapes identity. Shift number 8. Know what is yours to change and what you must release. This may be one of the most important lessons in self-mastery. We sometimes exhaust ourselves trying to control things that were never ours to control. You cannot control another person's choices. You cannot change the past. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot make everyone understand you. You cannot guarantee that nobody will ever disappoint you. But there are things you can take responsibility for. You can choose your intention, your effort, your response, your boundaries. You can choose your behavior. You can choose your next step. Self-mastery isn't controlling everything around you. It's learning to recognize what is mine to change and what do I need to release. Sometimes the greatest act of strengthening isn't trying harder. Sometimes it's accepting that something is outside your control and choosing peace over endless resistance. So turn experience into wisdom. Now we arrive at the final piece. What if the goal isn't to erase your past? What if the goal is to extract the wisdom without continuing to carry the weight? So ask yourself some really important questions and sit with it. What did this experience teach me? What do I understand now that I didn't understand then? What boundaries do I understand now? What do I value differently? What will I choose differently going forward? What wisdom can I keep without continuing to carry the pain? You don't have to be grateful that something painful happened. You can be grateful for what you have learned. You can be grateful for the person you are becoming. You can be grateful that you have another opportunity to choose differently. And sometimes that is enough. So, your 10-minute self-mastery practice. If you want to begin applying this, take 10 minutes a day. 2 minutes for awareness. Ask yourself, what am I carrying today? Don't judge the answer, just notice. 2 minutes for observation. Ask, what am I feeling? Where do I notice it? Allow yourself to observe rather than immediately react. 2 minutes for meaning. Ask yourself, what belief about myself might this experience be activating? Then, is that belief actually true? 2 minutes for identity. Ask, who do I want to be in this moment? Not who were you 5 years ago. Not who did someone else tell you to be. Who are you choosing to become? 2 minutes for action. So finally, what is one choice I can make today that reflects the person I am becoming today? Then take that action. This is the journey. Experience, awareness, understanding, choice, alignment, embodiment, wisdom. You don't have to deny your story. You don't have to live inside your story either. You can honor what happened, learn from it, and still choose a different future. And perhaps self-mastery isn't about becoming someone who never struggles. Perhaps it is becoming someone who can meet life's difficult moments with enough awareness to say, I see what is happening. I understand where this may be coming from. I know what is mine to change. I know what I need to release. And I still get to choose how I move forward. That is self-mastery. So one last thought. If you spend years believing that you need to completely fix yourself before you can create a meaningful future, I want you to reconsider that idea. You're not a broken project that needs to be repaired. You are a human being who is capable of learning, growing, changing, and becoming. Your past can teach you, it can shape you, it can give you wisdom, but it doesn't have to remain in the driver's seat. Your past is part of your story. It's not the limit of your future and the next chapter. You get to participate in creating it through your choices, your character, your actions, and the person you consciously choose to become. So if this message resonated with you, subscribe to my channel and share it with someone who may need it as well. And if you want to go deeper into the work of self-concept, identity, mindset, and becoming the person you know you are capable of becoming. That's the deeper work I explore through self mastery work at Dynamic Mindset Solutions. So until next time, remember, you don't have to become your past again simply because your past has visited you. You can acknowledge it, you can learn from it, you can release what is no longer yours to carry, and you can choose your next step. Thank you so much for watching today. Reach out to me if you like to work together or simply just want to connect. Thank you. Have a great day.